you're traveling down Highway 290 East, just outside of Fredericksburg in the state of Texas, you're going to come across one of the most amazing spectacles in contemporary art anywhere in the country today. Here you will find the studio of master sculptor Johann Eyfells. Johann Eyfells' work has an almost alchemical property, not just in terms of the way he uses chemicals to mix the metals in order to achieve the desired effects of many of his pieces, but also because he has a metaphysical pursuit at the root of much of his work.
I'm an artist. I do sculpture especially. I like to work with materials and ideas and concepts. So sometimes I don't know which is more important, what I think about it and the outcome. Which is the front and which is the back, you know. I hope the outcome sort of implies more than just something visual. It has to imply some strategy behind it, some reason for existing.
Anytime you're involved in long-winded conversations with Johann Eyfells, you get back to the physics and the nature of the universe. This is an underlying theme in almost all of the work he has done.
My whole life is behind my work. I always feel my best moments when everything comes together. My father told me about my questions. I was asking, what keeps time in check? He told me when I was a little boy, I was always asking people, don't I have a strong hand? I tried to imagine that when I was a little boy, I was quite real. I wasn't acting or there was no phoniness at all. It was who I was. So I don't mind somehow implying that I'm still a little boy.
He's probably one of the most important modernists and abstractionists of the last half of the 20th century. Johann Eyfells' sculptures stand up against the best of Donald Judd, of Richard Serra, or any of the other major contributors to abstraction in the last half of the post-war period.
I was born in Iceland on the longest day of the year. I always thought that was part of my destiny, or that was given to me as a kind of encouragement that I was born on the longest day. So I thought that was a good choice.
Johann Eyfells' work was groundbreaking in the early 1960s when he conceived his ideas around Receptionalism. You know, he comes from Iceland, a land of volcanoes, and the idea of volcanism and the very creation of Earth itself has affected the gestalt of how he creates his own sculptures. He was recognized quite a bit in the early 1960s and into the 70s. He was in the Helsinki Biennial. He was also at the United Nations building. He was at the Munich Olympics. Indeed, he started as an Olympic boxer, but before he was even a sculptor. And he takes that combative approach to his own process of making the work, whether it's through the metallurgy of Receptionalism or the way he will cast bronze and literally dig into the ground and pour the molten bronze in an explosive fashion into the ground to cast from the earth itself. There's a strong intellectual content, but also a Dionysian and even Vulcan sort of idea, volcanistic idea behind his process and the nature of all of his work. He is literally a force in nature.
It's a preparation for something. It's a preparation for a show. They loaded the 3 sculptures on my trailer, and then it's finishing some unfinished work. You can see I need this equipment. I mean, it wouldn't have happened if I didn't have this equipment. So it was sort of a combination of preparing for the future and somehow making something happen right here, something that made a significant impact on the place. want to quit? Try one more time? I think if I bring a bobcat down here, we can straighten it out again. All right.
He's very ionic. Everybody around this area knows him, knows his work ethics. He don't ask for much help. He does everything on his own. You'll watch him out here driving by on 290, and you'll see him carrying big old stones across the yard that you wouldn't even think he could pick up.
$33.5. That's what I feel like. No, 93.5. I'm sorry. 93.5. If we can put it down pretty much the way it is now.
Okay, on top, do you want to put the grate on it or just put it on top of there?
Whatever.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
If it doesn't need a tray, I'll be fine.
Amazing, amazing man.
He's a force in nature. For some reason, I don't think Eyfells is going to die in bed.
Take the bobcat, slide it over to the center, and I'll lower it right there, all right?
Okay.
Take the bobcat and push it back to me.
Push it from
Yeah.
underneath. It's just a pretty strong preparation for something better, more successful.
Set the table back up, put the pedestal, set it up on the ground, put the rock on the pedestal, pick them both up and put them on the table.
You do that?
Yeah, let's try that. If nothing else worked.
All right.
No. Put the rock on it back here, then you pick the whole thing up and put it up here with the rock on it. It's gonna work. That'll work.
have a feeling that something is in the air. I thought I would come out with a finished product, but it's not a losing day at all. Everything didn't turn out the way I wanted, and there was a little bit of a struggle there. And I think that's probably part of paying one's dues. I mean, you don't get anywhere without having paid some dues.
You see their successes, but you don't know how many times it didn't work.
If the bottom was a little flatter, would be easy, but.
So this is always a high-risk proposition. You don't know on any given day how it's going to turn out.
Okay, it's a good try.
Good try.
Okay,
We tried.
we tried, yes. Okay, back to the drawing board, huh?
Back to the drawing board.
Any event should in some way participate in optimism. The idea is to chase all sadness, get it out of your future. It's optimism. Even something very tragic and sad should be a cause for celebration of some sort. It happens, you know, something happens sometimes. It's not a question of giving up. It's a question of a new tragedy, you know, that's all. No problem. There's always something to smile about, you know.
Especially around him.
Always. Every day is a beginning. And treat it as a beginning. It's a birth. Something new will happen every moment. And we should be aware of those opportunities and run with it.